Hi, everyone. Welcome to Do You Believe on Paranormal Zone TV. Thanks, everybody. It's so great to see all of you. I see you in chat, and it's so nice to be back. Had a short little vacation. My daughter got married, and now I'm back with the shows. And, tonight, everybody, would you please subscribe and give the show a like? I'd really appreciate it. And guess what? Tonight I have Rob Guttrow back with us. I'm so excited to have him back. And Rob is an author, a medium, he's a scientist, and he's a ghost hunter in his spare time. And Rob has written 3 books. And tonight we're going to talk with Rob about ghosts and spirits. So Rob, welcome to the show.
Hi, Noreen. Thanks for having me back. I really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you back. Now, Rob, you are able to see, feel, and sense spirit. Now, how can you do this? When did this all come about?
Well, it came about when I was a teenager, but it didn't really develop until I was probably in my early 40s. And that was a result of my puppy passing away, and he started coming through. And then I fell in love, and I got married. And when you're emotional, you become more in tune with energy.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes. Now, Rob, is there a difference between ghosts and spirits?
There is a difference, and it's kind of a subtle difference, and the difference is because of the location. When we think of ghosts, we think of earthbound entities, and that's exactly what they are. When we think of spirits, we think of people, loved ones who have passed on and crossed into the light, or heaven, Valhalla, paradise, whatever you would like to call the other side. So they're both energy. They're both the same energy, and they have our personalities and our memories, but it's all about their location.
Okay, so a ghost is earthbound, but a spirit has gone into the light. Okay, so is that correct, what I just said?
That is correct,
okay.
Yes.
So then, with a ghost, why are they earthbound?
Well, I've come to find out in getting messages from them that there are a lot of different reasons. Sometimes when people die, they think that it would be beneficial for them to stay behind and try and help their family through their grief. And they really can't do that. They really can't help them as an earthbound ghost. Other times they have things that they wanted their families to see. They didn't finish things. They want forgiveness. That's a big one. They don't think they're deserving of going to heaven. Because sometimes their religion will teach them that if they did something bad, they don't deserve it, and that is actually not true. We all deserve to cross over. So a lot of different reasons.
All right, then a spirit is one that has gone into the light, and are they able to come back and forth?
Spirits can come back and forth. Spirits, from a scientific point of view, I'm actually also a scientist, so I explain everything because of energy. Energy is actually the foundation of the paranormal. And that includes the energy of our memories and our personality as well. So they can come back and forth. They don't belong here as an energy. An energy trapped on Earth is a ghost.
Oh, they're trapped. Oh, you're saying a ghost is trapped?
A ghost becomes trapped after a while for some reason, and that's something that nobody in the paranormal field can understand. For some reason, they don't remember the way to transition. They don't know how to cross over after a while. It's a big mystery, and that's why mediums like myself and another medium on the ghost hunting team go in there and we cross them over.
Oh, so really? Now, how do you know that you've actually crossed the ghost over?
That's a great question. The reason we know is actually we feel a physical sense of warm air. And that's happened every single time we've tried to cross a ghost over. It's it's really strange. In one instance, we were actually in a ladies' room. There was a ghost that was attached to somebody. That it was very strange, and it was in the summer, and the air conditioning was full blast. And when we crossed this ghost over, there were 5 other people in the room behind us. Everybody looked at each other because at the same time we all felt an amazing burst of warm air. So there's a physical sensation when a ghost crosses over.
Oh, okay. Do you believe that ghosts have a power over us?
You mean in terms of like possessions?
Yeah. Can they have an influence on us after they've passed on?
Okay. That's a 2-part answer, I guess.
Okay.
One, they can't really possess us, but they can influence things that we do. They basically can suggest things to us.
Okay, so they can't possess us? They can't possess. Okay, so I'm just thinking, so a ghost can't possess us, but what about attachments? When they actually affect your personality when you have an attachment?
Yes, they do. They absolutely do, and that's one of the ways that they can affect you. Ghosts are negative energy, and they're negative emotional energy. So think of negative emotions: fear, anxiety, anger, hatred, depression, all those things. So ghosts can act, because they actually emit negative energy, they can cause mood changes or emotional changes in people. That's why people have a ghost in their house. They really need to cross the ghost over. It doesn't help anybody to let a ghost stay in a house.
Okay, so do you think that it's a good idea for somebody who has no experience in this to try and get a ghost to pass over?
Certainly, they can try. And if they can't succeed on their own, then they should call in a paranormal team to do it. Here's the important thing is to think about this, that ghosts were once people or animals before. So they would understand us. They understand you when you're talking to them, unless they spoke another language. But also, ghosts actually, once they're on the other side, even in the ghost phase, they do tend to understand different languages. So, for instance, we were on a ghost investigation, and a gentleman was saying things to me that it sounded like Italian.
Oh.
And so I asked the woman in the house if she knew anybody who was Italian, and she said yes, her grandfather was Italian. So her grandfather was there.
Oh.
But he was just visiting. He was in spirit.
Okay, I always had a question about when somebody is dying, and this happened to my sister when she was ready to pass on. She was talking to her cousin, and I guess her cousin was in the room. Is that what happens when we're ready to die? That we'll see a loved one in the room, and do they help you pass over?
They do, and we do see our loved ones there waiting for us. That's one thing that a lot of people who have been slowly fading will say. I know several friends of mine who have lost people that are related to them that have said they've asked if they see somebody in the room that's related to them, and they said yes. I know that when my mother passed in December, I actually sensed my dad in the room, and one of the family dogs, and the next day my mother passed.
Oh, really?
So,
go ahead.
Even our dogs and cats are waiting for us on the other side. So anybody who's lost a pet, just know that they're going to be wagging their tail when you get there.
Now, how do you know that?
Oh, because I've seen several of them, and I get a lot of messages actually from dogs. Not so many for cats, because cats are more kind of reclusive, but because dogs we train dogs. Dogs know our language. I mean, if you think about it, we take dogs to school. We take them to the vet when they're sick. They know commands. They know their name. They know when they've done something bad. They know when we've done something bad.
Yeah.
They basically they have the intelligence of a 3 to 4 year old child, and that doesn't come from me. It comes from veterinarians who have studied dogs. So they can communicate with us just like children can.
Okay, so then, and then one another question I wanted to ask you about. So then there really is no death. We just move into another realm when we die.
Absolutely, and that's because of energy. Basically, our bodies have physical energy in them, and our thoughts are also energy. If you think about how scientists measure our thoughts, they're little electrical impulses in our brain. And the law of conservation of energy states that energy can't be destroyed, it can only be transformed, so it has to go somewhere. And it just can't disappear. So it either stays, we either make a conscious choice to say, here on Earth is a ghost, which is not a good idea, or we cross over and move into the light as a spirit.
Now, what about residual haunting? I've heard them so many times say, there's a residual haunting. That same ghost will walk up and down the steps at 12 o'clock midnight, the steps that she fell down when she was going to get married. What's this with residual hauntings?
I've come to find out that residual hauntings are basically a replay of an emotional incident that had happened in the past. It doesn't necessarily mean that the ghost, that there's a ghost there that is intelligent, that can communicate with you. But what it means is that there was so much emotion at a time during an event. Like, for instance, somebody fell to their death down a stairway. Their fear basically left an emotional handprint on the wall that keeps replaying the situation over and over again when there's enough energy to trigger it.
So, does that mean you can... Okay, so does that mean that if you buy a home that has that residual haunting that goes on every single night, is that it forever? Or can you stop... is there any way you can stop that energy from happening?
You can try and cleanse the home, certainly, by inviting positive energy and light in the home. Playing instrumental music, inviting a lot of light, opening the windows, lighting white candles, trying to dispel. Basically, it's like a thumbprint of negative energy that just sits in there.
Oh, so you can get rid of it.
You can get rid of it, yes.
So a cleansing, would that mean a cleansing or having the house blessed? What kind of a cleansing would work on that?
I'm not an expert with cleansing, but I think that you could start with the blessing, certainly, and then any kind of sage or sweet grass.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a number of things that people can use to do that.
So then, I know the American Indian believes in sage and sweet grass, and I think cedar, and so those herbs will actually work in trying to get a ghost to leave your home.
Well, what they do is they actually. It depends on if it's an intelligent haunt, which means an interactive one, or a residual one. If it's intelligent, you have to try and convince the ghost to go on. And once they cross, then sage will help clear their residual negative energy that they leave behind.
There's a lot of places, like especially hotels or businesses that make their money off of a location being haunted. Now those people are they're not going to ask a ghost to or guide them to please move on. So what will happen to these spirits that just keep lingering there?
They are basically mean, if you think about it, I always look at being a ghost as being imprisoned in an isolation cell in a prison, where you can't have any interaction with anybody, your relatives who have crossed. Certainly they can see, relatives in spirit can actually, they're aware of the ghost, but they can't, for some reason, help them cross over.
That's sad. There was a haunted location, and actually, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, the Wolf Manor, and that building that was left, it was the home. It was so supposedly extremely haunted, and the city tore that down. Now, what happens to all those spirits that were in that location since the building has been torn down? And I don't know what they're going to do with that property.
Noreen, that's a great question. And what I've come to find by researching some of these hauntings that are happening now, such as in old hospitals that used to be there that were torn down and then rebuilt as something else, is that the entities stay affixed to the location. And when a new building is built, that's why you will see ghosts walking through walls sometimes, because the ghosts are walking where a door used to be.
Oh.
So they stay there.
So if another building is erected on that land, they'll be going in and out of the walls on that new building.
Yes.
Okay. If you suspect that you have a ghost in your house, did you try and communicate with it? If it's possible to communicate with. Actually, what is the best way to communicate with a ghost if you have one in your home, or you suspect you have one in your home?
Talk to them like they're a person that came into your house, basically, because that's basically what they are. They're just a person consisting of energy that you may not actually be able to physically see, but you can sense they're in there. Talk to them in a civil manner. It really bothers me when you see ghost programs where they try and provoke and anger a ghost, because you wouldn't do that to someone standing in front of you, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right. So you talk to them and tell them that it's your home and that they may have lived there before, but they have passed away, and they need to go into the light. And then I usually direct them to a place where people are dying, like hospitals, maybe nursing homes, funeral homes, certainly, because sometimes a lot of times people will go to their own funeral and then the light opens after their services and then they cross over. That happened with my dad.
Now, you've been in contact with your dad? Have you talked to him?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Oh gosh, yeah, many times. My dad and my mom. My mom just passed she passed a year ago this month.
Oh.
But they give me messages from time to time, and it's actually like they're living in another state.
I have, the reason I do these shows, and the reason I've always been involved in the paranormal, is because I've always wanted answers. Is there an afterlife? So now I read that you said that you can prove that there is an afterlife. So what proof would you tell me and the viewers?
Well, first of all, I will tell you that there really is no such thing as a coincidence. A lot of things happen because they're spirit influenced. If you basically have to recognize the signs, and you have to remember that ghosts and spirits are energy. So, thus being energy, they can manipulate things that involve energy. Cell phones, televisions, radios. They can short circuit lights. And my dad did all of those things, as a matter of fact. He played with the telephone, he played with my mother's electricity, he short circuited lights. He did everything the week that he passed.
Oh, interesting.
So just be aware of it. And that's actually why I wrote the 3 books that I wrote, to actually get people to understand how spirits and ghosts communicate, so that they really don't need to call a medium All they need to do is read about these things, these different instances, and then see if those are happening in their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got your 3 books up showing that to the viewers. Okay, so, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought here. Now you started. Now this all came about when you were younger because you saw your grandfather. He appeared to you.
Yes.
Okay.
That was my first example.
Did you know that you had any of these gifts before then?
No, I did not. I did not. That was the awakening, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
And then over the course of my life, different things happened in different years. I actually wound up living in a haunted house in Kentucky when I rented a room with another guy, and it turned out that the house was haunted. And I found out when I moved in, he told me his last roommate moved out because he was scared.
Oh, really? Now, how?
Yeah, that was quite an experience because I was there for a whole year, a year and a half, and when you're sitting in a living room and you know you were in the kitchen and the kitchen was all cleaned and all the cabinets were closed and everything, and then you come out and you study for an hour and you go back in the kitchen and all the cabinets are open, and you know there's something going on. And that's what happened to me.
Oh my God! Did you ever get so? When your grandfather came to you and you saw this image for the first time, were you scared?
Oh, I was petrified. I ran outside.
Oh my God! Really? Oh my God! Oh.
I was a teenager.
Now, okay, so after that first appearance by your grandfather,
Mm-hmm.
and you came back in the house, what did you do? Did you try to communicate with him?
No, I was too scared. I waited for my parents to come home, and then I told my mother and father.
Oh my God! All right, so then what was the next incident after that?
The next incident?
Yeah.
I think it was in the early '80s after my aunt passed away. Actually, my aunt was earthbound. My grandfather came to me as a spirit. My aunt was earthbound because she was trying to get forgiveness, and she couldn't get it. She tried to get forgiveness from my mother because my aunt and my mother had a love-hate relationship growing up that lasted their whole life. So,
really?
I finally got my mother to forgive her, though. It took 25 years.
Oh my God! So when the spirit passes on, they want to resolve things. So they want to resolve. She wanted to resolve this with your mother.
That's right. And that actually is a really good lesson for the listeners, is that if someone has passed away and they have done something bad to you, please find it in your heart somehow to forgive them. I know there are a lot of people who have done really heinous things to people, from physical assaults to sexual assault to all kinds of things. But we have to actually forgive them. Otherwise, they're going to be trapped here as an earthbound ghost, and that would be a lifetime, an eternity in basically living hell.
Oh my God, Rob! I have to tell you something. About a month or so ago, we were airing a live EVP session through a Ghost app, and this girl who used to be a paranormal investigator on my team, we parted ways, and she did a nasty thing to me, really something that was not very nice and not called for, and she recently passed away. And
oh my gosh.
And in this EVP session we had, I tried to communicate with her, and I asked her, did she want to communicate with me, and if there was anything she wanted to say, and I told her, I said, all you had to do was come to me and ask me for my friendship, and I would have accepted it, but you didn't come to me. And in this EVP session, she said her name. And she couldn't move on until I I accepted her apology. And
Wow.
then there was a medium in the chat room that said she moved on. And my God, so you just clarified that for me. Wow.
Well, yeah, that's what it takes.
Wow.
So, a couple of friends of mine have been abused by their fathers when they were growing up, and they've realized that they had to forgive them to let them cross over. They won't forget. I mean, what I'm saying is, you don't have to ever forget, but you have to find it in your heart to forgive.
Oh my God. I can't. So that's so. I mean, I'm trying to take all this in. So we don't. So when we pass over, we still have a memory. We have a memory of everything.
Oh, sure. Our memories stay with our personalities. Yep. We maintain all of those things.
Oh my gosh. Now suppose I told her that I don't forgive her. And evidently she couldn't pass on until I forgave her. And what if I said, no, I'll never forget what you did to me and I'm not forgiving you? What would happen?
She would likely continue to come back and try and beg you for that forgiveness. Just actually, my aunt did that. My aunt did that over the course of 25 years. And that was the only reason that my mother finally forgave her. She said, I want my sister to leave you alone. I'm like, well, that's not really the reason you should forgive her. But, you take forgiveness any way you can get it.
Wow. So, now you said there's scientifically a way to communicate with spirit. What is that scientific way?
Well, we use a lot of different equipment from the science side of things. We use thermometers, digital thermometers, because temperature changes will indicate that a ghost or a spirit is present. And that is because they take the energy of the fast-moving molecules of air, and they take that energy out and they slow the molecules down. So slow-moving molecules of air are cooler air. Fast-moving molecules of air are warm air. So that's the science behind cold spots. We use electromagnetic field detectors because they detect energy. They detect magnetic fields, which are basically what a ghost or a spirit is. We use infrared cameras, which detect heat and cold, again, with the heat and the cold. So there's a lot of things that we use. Those are just some of them from the scientific point of view.
Do you think it's possible to touch a ghost? Are we able to physically touch and feel a spirit?
Oh, absolutely. It depends on how much energy they have. I know that I have been poked, prodded, punched, hit, stabbed,
Oh, yeah.
a number of things by ghosts or spirits. Oftentimes ghosts will actually make me feel those things because that's the way they died, and that's a way of proving their identity.
Okay, let's see. Oh gosh. What about, okay, I had seen, okay, so, all right, now, I don't think we got to this the last time I had you on the show. And we were going to talk about the best way to communicate when you go into cemeteries and go into some haunted locations. Now, a lot of times, and it's happened to me, I'll go into a location with a digital recorder and I won't get anything, but yet you know that the place is haunted. So what is the best way to communicate to get a response from these ghosts?
I would say approach an area that you know is haunted with sympathy. Let the ghosts know that you understand that they're there and they don't belong there and they're trapped, and that you want to help them. You want to help them cross over, and you can give them that guidance, as I mentioned. Direct them to a funeral home or a hospital or somewhere like that where the light appears often.
Really? If somebody says in your voice recorder, or even in our EVP sessions that we do off of these ghost apps, somebody will say, "Please help me." What the heck do you do? So you tell now. How do you know? Okay, so if you say go to the nearest hospital or go to the nearest funeral home, and they're going to be able to find it?
It helps to give them direction. You can direct them to say, go down a mile or whatever.
Oh.
I actually know somebody, a friend of mine actually in Philadelphia, lived in a house with a ghost, and she said that she felt that the ghost was attached to her. So I told her to drive, when she feels that the ghost is attached to her, drive to a hospital. And walk in and then tell the ghost to go find the light that's appearing throughout the hospital and go through.
And do you know if that really happened?
I do know that she went to the hospital, and she hasn't heard from the ghost in a long time. So
really?
She was hoping that the ghost crossed.
Oh. Hey, Rob, when we do these EVP sessions through ghost apps, how do we know we're really communicating with a ghost? Or if we'll say, like, try to contact a celebrity, like we try to contact Robin Williams, and his voice, I mean, it sure sounded like him coming through on the ghost box, on the ghost app. How do we know that we are really communicating with that spirit?
Well, you ask them questions to help prove their identity. Things that only you would know. If this is a personal spirit that you're trying to communicate with, basically that's the way that mediums actually confirm the identity of the people that they're talking to. By any kind of quirky thing, like where you grew up, what was your first dog's name, what color house did you live in, what was your favorite car, anything that you would ask somebody normally that would be alive in order to figure out who they are.
But don't you think that another spirit would know that information?
Not necessarily, because again, we all maintain our memories and our personalities. They're private things, unless you're talking about celebrities. I mean, celebrities' lives are known very well, so to me, it would be really, really hard to try and channel a celebrity, because I wouldn't know if they were who they say they are.
Oh, okay. How do we know we're not talking? Do you believe in demons?
I have a different take on demons. So my answer is yes and no. No, in terms of the religious sense. I don't believe that there is a hell. I believe hell is actually basically being stuck here on earth as a ghost. And you have nowhere to go. And you live that way in solitude for the rest of eternity. That to me is hell. What I think demons are, and this is part of the scientific side of me. We know that there are over 1,000 exoplanets. That is 1,000 planets, at least that we've been able to see from here, from our standpoint, using the Hubble Space Telescope and other Earth telescopes. And there are a number of them that may support life. We can't see that far. We don't have that capability yet. We will in 2018 when the new Space Telescope is being launched. But we would be pretty arrogant to think that there's no life on another planet.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, what happens to life on other planets when it dies? It becomes energy. That's the law of physics. It becomes energy. So that energy, that life form from another planet, this is my theory, that a life form from another planet is what we consider demons, because they don't understand what we are. They don't know what humans are. So what they do is they can actually take over a human or try to possess a human. They're hostile. I mean, if you think about it, if you think about how how a lion feels when you get dropped in their cage.
Yeah.
It feels threatened, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. But now, yeah, okay, go ahead, because go ahead. Now, I have another, go ahead. No, finish.
No, so I'm pretty much done. No, so it's the same thing. I think that demons are basically other life forms, and that to me is much more plausible than saying there's some kind of mysterious religious, icon figure or something like that we don't know. It's all about energy. That's the bottom line.
Okay, now that's your take, because, I mean, we have those who do exorcisms. And now, so then, what is with these people like Anna Louise Michael, Michael, and the first young boy who had a possession, and they did an exorcism on him. And actually, Anna Louise Michael, she had, gosh, I think 60 exorcisms, and they never released. It was never released from her body. So, how do you explain that?
Well, I think that whenever you go up to something that's taking possession of something that's not theirs, and you threaten them, for instance, an alien life form, just like somebody that speaks a different language that doesn't know what you're doing, excuse me, it's fearful. It would instill fear on whatever entity is taking over somebody to have 3 or 4 people come in there with incense and chanting things and all the positive energy that they can muster. I really think it's the positive energy that these exorcists bring that actually are able to dispel this negative energy.
But how does that person get that way? I mean, they speak foreign. They speak in a language they've never spoken in before. Some have spoken in ancient languages that haven't been heard in thousands of years. So how does that happen?
And that happens because when spirit gets on the other side, either human spirit or whatever spirit you want to say, it's open to the knowledge that flows through the universe. That's why people who die have sudden awareness of how they lived on Earth and that it was bad, because they suddenly have a greater awareness of what they've done, and they have a greater knowledge of everything in life and death from the other side.
Okay, so
learning another language is certainly plausible.
Also, I'm sure you're aware, because you're a paranormal investigator, when you've done EVP work. Or, I don't know. Have you ever done the ghost box?
Yes.
Okay, and you get the swearing, the language.
Yes.
What is that all about? I mean, we get horrible. Oh my God, horrible things coming through. What's that?
That was a really angry person in life that is a really angry person in death.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my friend Dave just had a session the other night, and whoever that was coming through was saying that they were going to kill somebody. And that's not the first time we've heard that. But that's not possible, is it?
Can a kill somebody?
Yeah.
Or
can this?
It depends. I guess it depends on the physiology of the person. I mean, certainly, just like with infirmities, the elderly and the very young are much more susceptible to physical pain and trauma than a 25-year-old.
Oh boy. Well, I know I've heard this before, where people believe that demons are ETs or aliens, and that's not the first time I've heard that. Now, what about angels?
Angels don't necessarily have been living beings either here on Earth. They can also be, from another world. But they're energy. And a lot of times when people here pass away, they live great lives, they actually also can be angelic. Mm-hmm. It's all about positive energy. I think angels are one of the highest levels of positive energy. I look at the more positive energy that you have, the more pure I think you are. So, and that's the way I look at angels.
Yeah, I just read an article the other night that some believe that angels as well are ETs.
It could very well be.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's definitely life in another part of the cosmos.
Okay, so now what about now? I've talked to many people, and they say that we all have a spirit guide. Now, mm-hmm. I've never seen my spirit guide, and I'm sure there's a lot of us out there that haven't seen our spirit guide, but yet others are able to communicate with their spirit guide. What the heck? How can we communicate with the spirit guide when they won't communicate with us?
Noreen, that's a great question. And, I didn't actually know who my spirit guides were until about 3 years ago. The way you can do it is you can do a meditation. There are actually several of them that I found on YouTube where they're narrated with some peaceful music in the back, and they have you close your eyes, and they walk you through a peaceful, pastoral setting, whether it be a mountain or a forest or something like that. And then over time, after they describe what's around you, then they say, who do you see? There's a person waving to you, and then you go up to it. Mm-hmm. And then you describe what this person looks like. And it could be a relative. It could be somebody you don't know, as mine is someone I don't know. And they will give you a name. And so meditation is the way to find that out. So I have a man who's a spirit guide, an older man, and I also have a dog.
Oh, is that your dog that passed on?
It is.
Oh.
It's one of my two dogs that passed on. Yes.
Oh boy. Now you've said that before that the messages that they come to you and messages come to you. Now, how does that happen, Rob?
How do I get messages?
Yeah, how do you get messages?
Well, I guess I get them in a number of different ways. Mostly, I get them telepathically. I can actually hear somebody in my head. That's most common. But as I mentioned, sometimes I feel physical sensation. So ghosts and spirits will convey information that way. Other times, I'll actually see a person in my mind, and I will sketch them out. And I've done that, I guess, quite a lot on ghost investigation. And it still freaks me out when I showed people the picture, and they said, that's the guy that's walking through my house.
Oh, really? Oh,
it's kind of bizarre.
Oh, I'll say it is. And now, have you ever gotten any messages warning you of something?
Yes. I had a premonition, and in daily life, though, sometimes when I feel like I really shouldn't be driving down a certain street and I don't go there, that's actually a message. So people should pay attention to that.
Oh, when your intuition?
Yes. Yeah. We can call it intuition, and sometimes it's more than intuition. Sometimes it's a spirit sitting in your car going, you don't want to go that way. And several times that's happened to me, and I found out that there were accidents on the way that I was planning to go. So.
Wow. Now, okay, since a spirit can come to you and do that, can a spirit also come to you and give you bad advice or bad information?
I would say a ghost would probably be more likely to do that.
Now, how do you know? Now, how do you know that that ghost giving you that information is giving you bad information?
You don't know. You don't know until you find out. But ghosts, for the most part, more people who are ghosts on Earth tend to be people who are not good people. That doesn't mean all ghosts are not good people. But I find that about probably 70% that stay behind as a ghost either did something bad and feel they're undeserving of moving on, and they maintain that personality of being a bad person. So you don't know if a ghost is telling you to do something, if it's good or bad.
Wow. So that's kind of hard. Well, that's hard for you, since you pick up these messages.
Well, you have to read the energy, I guess. And you have to trust your own intuition. That's when your intuition really comes into play.
So intuition is like it's like a psychic thing, because a lot of us have it.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, I have another question. Are you familiar with the Villisca house, the Villisca murder house in Iowa?
No, I'm not, and I can say that I'm glad I'm not.
Oh my God, it's a horrible thing.
Why do you ask?
Well, I wanted to know, okay, there were 8 people that were murdered, slaughtered in that house, and this was, gosh, I think it was in the 1800s, and it was, I think it was 5 children, a husband and a wife, and then two visiting children, and nobody has ever found who murdered who murdered the family and the two little visiting girls, and they were all hacked to death.
Oh my God.
And I did a show on it, and I talked to my guest was Dr. Epperling, and he is an expert on this case. However, nobody has ever found who did it, and the thing is, I'm wondering why a psychic has never come through and been able to pick up on who might have killed this family.
Well, there could be there's likely an awful lot of very, very negative energy. When I walk into a place like a battlefield, there's so much energy there that it's overwhelming, that I get a headache, and it's hard to discern one voice in between it. It's like being in a stadium packed with people screaming at you when you have that much energy in a place. So it could be overwhelming.
Oh, when you go into these battlefields, is that residual hauntings that you're picking up on?
Both. Yeah, it's both. There's still some people in the battlefields that died there, and they don't know that they're dead.
And now, have they communicated with you for help?
It's really hard for me to hear them because of the extreme energy levels that are there.
Oh, really? Now, what about... Okay, what about in a cemetery when you get EVPs, and we've gotten them where a little boy's voice would say, I'm down here, I'm down here. Now, what does down here mean? That bothers me.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I hope to God I hope to God that if I'm not going to be buried. I refuse. After I heard that, there's no way in hell I'm going to be buried. And that scared me. I want to be on a mantle in my kid's house. But, and I thought, well, oh my God, is he stuck in the ground where he's buried? Is that possible?
Well, his body is down there, but his soul is not.
Oh my God, well then why was he saying, I'm here, I'm told you, I'm down here?
Well, he could have been talking to a taller person, and he's a kid, so, when you think about it, kids can sometimes only be like 3.5, 4 feet high.
Yeah, but
So
Rob,
maybe that's what he meant.
I don't know. I don't know, but that freaks me out. That I can't handle that. I really can't handle that. Okay, so what lessons can be learned by talking to the dead?
Well, forgiveness is certainly the biggest lesson to learn. That is by far the biggest lesson to learn. The other thing is that treat everybody the way you want to be treated. And a lot of people on the other side who have died and who are trying to move on have regrets that they were not nicer to people, that they believed that they were better than people, than some others. On the other side, there's no such thing as racism. There's no such thing as sexism. Nobody is judged on the other side. Everybody deserves to cross over. And, you know, I know that goes against some of the religions in the world, but it's not about religion. It's about spirituality. And it's also about living right. You know, every person deserves to be treated equally, no matter what color, race, sexuality they are. It doesn't make a bit of difference. And the minute you start treating someone bad based on one of those things, just know that you may be sitting on the other side for a long time before you move on.
Really? So
Yeah.
so people that are nasty on earth, they can't move into the light when they die?
Well, they can, but once they die, they have an awareness that they did a lot of things wrong, and that kind of acts as a preventative. Because they realize that they're not, you know.
So, Rob, have you ever had a conversation with a dead person and asked them what it's like on the other side?
I really haven't. And there are some things that I don't want to know.
Really? You wouldn't want to know that?
I really don't want to know. I mean, all I know is that that their energy on the other side, and they can travel from one side of the earth to another side of the earth in the blink of an eye. Speed of light. Even faster. You know, on the other side, you can see anything you want in the universe. You can actually be in two places at the same time. Spirits have been known to be in two places at the same time, talking to two different people. Because it's about energy, and you can split energy.
So what is our body like? I know we shed this body when we die, but what are we like when we die? Are we just a ball of energy, or do we feel like we have a body, or do we wear clothes, or what are we like?
It's a consciousness. It's energy. It's a consciousness, basically, in energy. But when we want to appear to people here on Earth, we appear to them as they would like to see us.
Are we able to hear music? Enjoy things that we did when we were alive? Are we able to find people that we want to communicate with? What if we fell in love with a movie star and we just adored them? Could we seek them out? Would they talk to us?
Absolutely.
Really?
When just think of all the energy that courses through the universe, and you can connect with it. You just have to know who you're looking for.
Okay, do we have to search out for our family members, or will we connect when we pass over?
We will connect. All of our family members will be waiting for us.
Really?
When we cross over. When my dad passed away, he actually crossed over in the cemetery after his funeral services had come to an end, and I actually saw the light. That was the first time I've ever seen it. And in that light were all the relatives, and relatives I didn't even know, that were waiting for him, including 3 dogs, 2 of our family dogs and my puppy that passed away.
Oh. Wow. So Okay, so if we're energy and we don't have bodies or whatever, um, I just can't grasp what that's like. Um, so do, but we see them, we see our relatives, we see our animals. Is it like, is it like how we see them on Earth? I mean, do they look like they have a body, or you just feel them?
It looks like they have a body because they they can actually appear to us any way that is comfortable for us.
Hmm.
But they also appear to us in the way that sometimes they were most comfortable. Like my dad has appeared to me quite a few times as he was in his late 30s, early 40s. And I don't remember my dad in his early 40s.
Really? Yeah. So why would he do that? Why wouldn't he appear to you the way you remembered him?
Because he was most comfortable in life when he was in his mid-40s. He was most comfortable about his appearance when he was in his mid-40s.
Okay. Now, Sylvia Brown, I know you're familiar with her. She said she always would say that we all die, and I think we're all 26 years old when we die. Thought, well, that's a good one, Sylvia. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Rob?
Well, I think one of the most important things is that we all need to understand that religions are a really good way to develop a foundation for belief, and you can grow from there. You can grow and become spiritual. So trust your feelings, and know that your relatives, your loved ones, either human or pets, are with you on and off throughout the year, especially around holidays, birthdays, and anniversaries. That's another thing I've learned. And everybody can communicate in different ways. One of my favorite ways to tell people is to look for pennies or whatever change you may find, and look at the year, and that year may have relevance to somebody that passed away.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Now, do you want to? You want to tell them about your website and your books? I'll show that to them. Let's see. Hold on. Let me find your books. Okay, good. I've got your books up.
Well, thank you. The 3 books I wrote are all on Amazon.com. They're in paperback and ebook. The most popular one of late has been Pets in the Afterlife, which just came out this year. And I've heard a lot of great things from people who have lost a pet, and it's really helped comfort them and make them aware of how pets communicate, very much like people. And the lessons learned from Talking to the Dead has basically all the signs you'll ever see that I could compile, and my experiences with every single sign from people on the other side. So if you know somebody that lost a loved one and are especially grieving them over this holiday, even a pet, I think that my books will help. I've really, I've been fortunate enough to be able to help a lot of people with them, and I want everybody to know that the spirits are around and they're helping you out from time to time.
Oh, awesome! You're also on Facebook as well.
I am. Yep. Just type in Rob Gutro, Gutro. You can find me on Facebook. I have 2 pages there. My website is ghostsandspiritsinsights.blogspot.com. And I maintain a blog about 3 or 4 times a week. Something new 3 or 4 times a week about ghosts, spirits, people, pets. Doesn't matter.
Yes.
I cover it all.
Oh, gosh, Rob, thanks. Hey, thanks so... Hey, we didn't lose internet. We didn't lose phone service. Yay. Everything went great tonight. Thanks, Rob. I want to thank you again so much for coming back on the show. I really appreciate it. And I just love having you as a guest.
Thank you, Noreen. It's been my pleasure. And happy holidays to you.
Oh, honey, same to you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Good night. Thank you. Good night. Oh, hey, everybody. I just love Rob. He is so awesome. Hope you enjoyed the show. I see everybody. Ebony, my dear friend Ebony Faith and Chip and Nicole and Royce and Dave, my bud Dave. Let's see. Oh gosh, this is gonna be. Oh, Chuck. Hey, Chuck, it's been a long time. K Cap Paranormal, Lube Dub, Debbie Bass, Nikki. Hi, Nikki. Let me see how far I can go back. Oh, hi, Chris. I guess Stephanie's working tonight. Everybody, I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. And don't forget, let's see. Okay, so next week I have Bob Cranmer, and he has written a book, and he has written a book on the Demon of Brownsville, his haunted house, and it's filled with demons. And so I have him as a guest next week. No show on the 25th on Christmas. And on January 1st, Krista V, my dear friend Krista V, who's in the chat, and she helps me a lot. She's like my manager. She really helps me out, and she's very supportive of me and my show. She is going to do a show with me, and the show is going to be on Clinton Road, Weird, New Jersey, the most haunted road in America. And Kristen actually Kristen knows all about that road. She lived by it. She's had experiences, and she has pictures, and I can't wait to do that show. And then also, let's see, January 8th, I have Anthony, our dear friend Anthony Sanchez, who has created the Ghost Apps. He will be on the show talking about his UFO Highway. And by the way, they're making a movie out of his book. And then January 22nd, I'm so excited. I've got Antonio Paris, and he is going to talk about the Skinwalker Ranch. I've been dying to do a show on that, and I'm so excited to have him on. He is quite involved with the Skinwalker Ranch, and he has aerial views and a lot of information on the Skinwalker Ranch, and I'm really excited about that. So that's it for January. I'll be starting to fill my calendar for February soon. So everybody, thanks so much for joining me. And I guess that's all. There's no questions or anything. So I guess with that, hi everybody. Butter Kisses, Karen Hendley, hair. Honey, I didn't see you before. That's a wave for the UK. And so anyway, and I'll see you guys next week. I think Dave's gonna have a show. I thought I saw somebody post that. And so if some of you can't make it back to my shows, would you all please subscribe and give my show a like? As you can see, I had negative dislikes before the show even started. If you would give me a like, and those who haven't subscribed, if you like my show tonight, if you would please subscribe. I have weekly shows every Thursday, except I won't have one on Christmas. And yeah, hair, my bud from the UK. So I guess I'll see you all if Dave is going to have a show. Oh, hi, Derek Wade. I love you too. Whip. Hey, Whip. I actually saw you in earlier. And it's so nice to see everybody here. It's been a couple of weeks. I thought maybe you might have forgotten about me, but I'm back. And I love you guys. Just remember that, and and all your support that you give me, you guys really mean a lot to me. So I will see you next week. Let's see. Yep, I'll see you next week. I'm really excited about that show, The Demon of Brownsville. So don't forget, And so I'm going to say goodnight. And, oh, Ginger, hi, Ginger. Unique Annie, hi, honey. You guys are all starting to show up. Oh, Night Lover, there you are. That's Stephanie. She's the other one that helps me. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to say goodnight. And, yeah, I miss you guys too. But I had an awful lot to do. I mean, that wedding took, you have no idea. That wedding took my whole, I mean, it just enveloped me. I was just, oh my God. That wedding was, oh, I miss not working on the wedding, but it's over now, and on to other things. So I'll see you guys. See you all. Oh, Royce. Hi, Royce. Scowling Wolf. Okay, guys. Anyway, so good night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was just, I just enjoy Rob so much. He's just a wonderful person, and he is on Facebook. If you guys want to give his Facebook a like, that would be great. And again, I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Okay, don't forget, it's going to be a good show, The Demon of Brownsville. I can't wait. So I'll see you next week. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. Oh, Jay, sorry, Jay. Yeah, you missed the show. Sorry, honey. Good night, everyone.